Hey everybody, what is going on? My name is Raven. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about some of the best ways or best challenges to play in The Sims 4. Now some of these I have seen other people play before, and others I have never even heard of. So let's go ahead and talk about them. Number one is the Legacy Challenge. The Legacy Challenge is an old classic Sims challenge when you start off with very little money and continue to play within the same family for 10 generations. It has gained a lot of prominence as the gameplay resonates with most of the fans. So how do you play it? Well, you need to create a young adult Sim and start as a young adult who has to build everything from scratch. Next up, you're building your property and gradually gaining a fortune to pass it on to your next generation. The catch here, as we mentioned, is that you have to stay in the same family for 10 generations. For the Legacy Challenge to work, you'll need to build up your family from the ground up. Build your house, wealth, and everything. And make sure to have a child to continue the next generation. This legacy is basically a rags to riches story, but with just one family. Number two is the 100 Baby Challenge. This is a challenge in The Sims 4. We have one matriarch, and they are supposed to have as many children as possible. And when they die, the youngest child basically has to become the next matriarch. And what happens is, there's a few rules to this. So you can have one partner, but you cannot have the same partner over and over again. So you basically have to have a partner, have a baby, move on to the next partner. And there's another thing. If you don't have any girls, you instantly lose. And you cannot use cheats. The rule set includes bizarre ones like not being able to get pregnant with the same Sim twice, which I already mentioned. There's no nanny services, there's no marrying, no manipulating the traits of the kids, which means you have to randomize all the traits of your children, and your Sim not being able to get any kind of work that does not involve going out of the house. So basically you have to become a good painter or good writer, do everything from home. The children, obviously, that's a challenge in itself because you have to keep taking care of them. If they get taken away, you are done. Number three, the Homeless Challenge. Well, it sounds exactly what it is. So, it's kind of like the Legacy Challenge, but this is very different. So how to play this challenge? Well, first of all, your Sim doesn't have any cash on them and cannot get a regular job. You can't ask other Sims to move in with you or have a boyfriend or girlfriend until you gain money or build a home. You have to deal with using public toilets and sleeping on park benches until you save up to start building your house. Even though the Homeless Challenge is difficult, it is a favorite amongst Sim 4 Simmers. Number four is the Asylum Challenge. So in this challenge, you must create an 8-Sim household with a mandatory insane trait for every Sim. You'll then need to control one Sim. The goal is straightforward: to complete the Sim's aspirations so that that individual leaves the asylum. The challenge also sets you up with a storyline in the main character that has undergone a psychological episode via their mother and must now find a way out of the asylum while dealing with their trauma. And on top of that, every single Sim has all their own random traits except for the insane trait. That is obviously a given. But here's the kicker. There's only 5 beds, 5 skill building objects, 6 seats, 1 PC or TV, ensuring that everything is divided unfairly amongst the Sims. Also, there's no self-assurance trait for your Sims, and their aspiration needs to be randomized. Let me know if you guys want to try this challenge. I'd be game to try it. It sounds fun. Number 5 is Decades Challenge. Have you ever wanted your Sim to witness the trials and tribulations of living in various eras throughout the history of humans? Well, the Decades Challenge allows you to do just that, with your Sims taking on the various complications of living through tough times in nostalgic eras. How to play. If you start in 1890, there are no showers available, no electricity, and only males are allowed to take up jobs. Then you can move on to the next decade, which is going to be the 1900s, where you now have indoor plumbing and electricity. However, only men can work jobs outside the home. Then you have the next generation, and so on and so on and so on. Seems like a very interesting challenge. Next up is the Apocalypse Challenge. An apocalypse can come in a variety of shapes and sizes, and bring with it just many different situations. If you truly wish to know what it would be like if your poor Sims were thrown in the middle of a social and ecological war, then this is your go-to challenge. Well, how to play. Starting off, there's a dystopian world caused by the atomic war, and your goal is to survive with necessities and nothing more. You can't leave your small shelter or buy exotic things. However, up until the year 2020, this was one of the best challenges to play, but now it's become too familiar with everyone's quarantine and stay-at-home rules and everything else. However, I'm sure there are some people that have played this challenge. If you have, let me know. Number 7 is Disney Princess Challenge. Disney is a name, we all know it. We've all seen their movies once or twice. So how do you play the Disney Princess Challenge? Well, you can start with Snow White. You'll need to have 7 children who will double up as your dwarves. All your children must be from the same father, and they need to complete the aspirations or earn an A in school to accomplish the challenge. Then you move on to Cinderella by choosing a female as they turn into a teenager as your descendant. She must have the foodie and neat traits and needs to clean the house and cook every day. One rule about Cinderella is that she cannot marry until her mother passes away. So you can kind of do that with all of them, you know. Moana wants to leave home. You know, you can kind of pick and choose what you like. I would actually be interested in trying this one as well. Number 8, Build a City Challenge. This is one of the most basic ones in the list. So how do you play? Everything isn't readily available to unlock new locations or services. You have to reach a set benchmark. For instance, you can unlock a new road only after placing 5 community lots. Your Sims won't even have pizza delivery until you reach a certain number of people. The beauty of this Build a City Challenge is that you're not only looking after one Sim, but you're looking after the entire community. You have to keep tabs on everyone until you earn 50,000 points and conquer it. Number 9 is the Bachelor or Bachelorette Challenge. This is inspired by the TV counterpart. We've all known about that show. So how to play? You need one single Sim to be part of the challenge and put them in a house with 7 other Sims. You can be anything from old, poor, ugly, rich, young, whatever. The rules are not as strict, so your creativity can shine. The most important part of the challenge is to make sure that your Sim finds true love. Every 3 days, a contestant is eliminated from the competition. Sounds pretty simple, right? Next is the Black Widow Challenge. So, what is the Black? Well, it is an assassin who learned various languages and was a mistress of stealth. It's a watered-down version inspired by the Black Widow spider. So how do you play? You have one matriarch that marries and kills people to get their money. Definitely not the Disney Princess Challenge. You need to create a Sim, particularly a young adult female Sim. You need to give her the materialistic, snob, and romantic traits with the serial romantic aspiration. You can move into a house. You're not allowed to use cheats. So you can't cheat your way to get the biggest house or anything like that. After creating your Sim, the next thing you'll need to do is meet a Sim and marry him. This is where it gets tricky though. You need to throw a party and show off your new husband. You also need to find a new romantic interest at the same time. Time to cheat on your spouse with your new romantic interest. Invite them over and make it. And of course, you'll have to keep the tombstones on your lot, and you want to aim for about 10 husbands. Ooh, sounds difficult. This one is a history challenge. So, what is this one all about? The first thing you need to do for the history challenge is to create a Sim that will serve as your ancestors. You need to place them in an empty world, which means you have to delete everything on the map or download one online. This will serve as your prehistoric Sims. The rules for the history challenge are simple. Your Sims can't have a job, as it wouldn't be that way in prehistoric times. To make money, you can sell paintings or your woodworking creations. Your ancestor Sim must live on the ground or in a tent, and they would have to live off the land. To progress out of the prehistoric era, you'll need to complete a few smaller goals, like reaching level 10 in a fishing, gardening, or handiness skills. After you successfully make it, you can now move to the next era, and so on and so forth. This also sounds interesting. Next is the Big Brother Challenge. It is very similar to the TV show, but with a little twist. Instead of playing as a contestant, you get to be the boss. It requires you to lock up 8 Sims in a house without TV, computers, radios, or anything like that. Give them tasks and eliminate them at your will. Your challenge ends with the last one winning the game. There are a lot of Big Brother challenges that you can let your Sim housemates do. The one Sim with the lowest skill progress gets evicted from the house. Repeat this until you have 1 winner left, and then you reward them with cheats with 1,000,000 simoleons. Next is the MasterChef Challenge. It is a cooking show that got everyone hooked. Has made it to the virtual world as well. Sims and 8 Sims in the house, 3 are judges, the rest are participants. During the course of the competition, the only way you'll be able to improve is to read cooking skill books. The only time you'll use a kitchen is during actually judged cooks. Every week when the competition starts, there'll be 3 cooking challenges where one will get eliminated at the final cook. So this is exactly like the cooking TV shows we see. Number 15, I'm skipping some here, is a Not So Berry Challenge. This has become a huge hit on YouTube. I've seen Claire, I'm not going to butcher her last name, I do apologize, but Claire does a Not So Berry Challenge. Kelsey Dangerous has done it on her YouTube account as well. This is just becoming a huge thing. So Not So Berry Challenge is 10 generations long, and every generation has a distinct color of hair, and it kind of has certain characteristics, things like that. Like, for example, the second generation is the color rose, and their traits are hot-headed, snobbish, and romantic. They aspire to be serial romantics and pursue a political career. You must master all of these traits and aspirations to finish the challenge. Now, again, it's 10 generations, so you start with generation 1, then you have to do everything with generation 1 before you move on to generation 2, and so on and so forth until you reach generation 10 and finish it. Once that is it, then you're done. It actually looks really fun. But I think I'm going to leave this video here. There's a lot more challenges than I originally thought. And if you would like me to see maybe about doing some of these, let me know in the comment section down below. And I will see you all next time. Bye!